I really enjoy helping buyers find the dream house, like that kind of thing. That's always really special to me when I spend a lot of time looking with someone and they finally find the one and they finally get their offer accepted. Like that's always a great day, very rewarding. Hi, I'm Jessica Jones. I'm the co-managing broker at Social House Group in Belleville.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so happy you took the time to spend with us today at Faces of Real Estate.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, is there a specific moment that you knew that real estate was for you?
Yes, so I had always been interested in real estate, but really I felt like real estate was a good career choice for me when I was in process of buying a home myself. So not as a real estate agent, but as a client, as a consumer, when I was buying a house, I realized that it was something that I was really into, something that I was really interested in, something that I always felt like I could do and do well.
What was the moment you first realized that real estate was for you?
I realized that real estate was for me when I was in process of buying my first house. I really enjoyed the whole experience of looking for a house, looking at houses, learning from my real estate agent, going through the process, the mortgage process, buying the house. That was all very interesting and exciting to me. So that's kind of,
So you knew right off the bat, not even while you were an actual real estate agent, but just going through the process, you knew real estate is the way to go for me.
yeah, by the time that I got my real estate license myself, I had bought a house, sold a house, bought a second house. So I'd kind of gone through the process myself 3 times and was just, yeah, really into it. So when I was considering like making a career move and thinking about what options I had available to me and what made the most sense, real estate was one of the first things that I thought of. And as I learned more about what I would need to do, how it would work, I just realized it was going to be such a good fit for my lifestyle and what I wanted to accomplish and what I could do. So
So did you have a great experience on your first home buying excursion?
yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I did. You know, we bought a house that we were very happy with. But like I said, I learned so much during that process about what it entails, what happens behind the scenes, what could go wrong. We had a deal go wrong, fall through, got back into it, had it go successfully, that kind of thing. Yep.
So I imagine that every real estate agent remembers their first sale. Do you remember yours?
I do. I remember my first sale. I was at the office one day, and I guess this doesn't happen very much anymore now that everything's so virtual, everything's so online. But when I first started, it wasn't unusual at all for people to just walk in the door, like, hey, I've got a house I need to sell, or I need to buy a house. Can someone help me? And that's how they would meet a real estate agent. That's how they would engage. So I was on floor time, like on duty, desk duty, at the first office where I had my license. And I was busy learning everything I could learn, practicing, making mock deals, writing out documents, that kind of thing. And a nice guy walked in. The parcel of vacant land next to his house was for sale, and he wanted to buy it. So I helped him to do that. He was my first client, my first closing, my first transaction, and I'm still in touch with him.
Oh, that's amazing. Looking back at it now, what would Jessica tell that Jessica before that deal?
Just buckle up, I guess. um, I think something that I kind of came in with, maybe from my own personal experiences in real estate, is that anything can happen. Things go wrong. No one transaction is ever the same. They're all so different. They each have different challenges and different obstacles. So I guess I would remind myself to just stay very open, stay very humble, Every experience you have is an opportunity to learn something new. You're never going to know it all in this business. It's not possible. So just stay open and stay ready to learn. Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine. Um, I can imagine as a kid that a real estate agent wasn't on your docket of what you wanted to be. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I was always taking care of animals. We always had cats and dogs growing up. And for a long time, we lived on a dirt road kind of right outside of town. And it's really true. Unfortunately, people would just dump their animals. I was always coming home with stray cats and stray dogs, and I'd be the one to clean them up and take care of them. And we ended up keeping a lot of them, but yeah.
Do you have any pets now?
Yes, I'm a cat lady. I have two cats right now. I was telling my husband the other day he was mad at the cat and threatening to get rid of the cat or never have a cat again or whatever. And I was like, I hate to remind you of this, but I've never not had a cat a single day in my life. So I'm always going to have a cat, I'm sure. Like my parents had a cat before I was born. That was my big brother, like their first child. So I'll always have cats.
Is there any particular breed of cat that you like, or is it just cats in general?
Cats in general, yeah. No, I've never, gosh, I've never like bought a cat, like gone out and looked for a specific kind of cat. It's always just a cat has found me or been in this. I've adopted cats, right? But no, I don't
What about you have three boys, correct?
know. Three
Do they
boys.
do they love the cats as well?
Yeah, same with them. They've never not had a cat, so it's just kind of how they've grown up, just like me.
Sounds
I
good.
like dogs too. I would have a dog. I can't take care of a dog. We're so busy. We're in and out all the time. And I think like a dog needs you emotionally. Cats don't. They don't care. My cats don't care anyway. So they're very low maintenance, where I feel like it would be unfair to have a dog because I wouldn't be able to take care of the dog the way a dog needs to be taken care of.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot
So.
of sense. What would you say is your proudest moment?
I'm proud of myself and some of my accomplishments for sure, but I'm really proud of my kids when I see, not just when I see them doing something great, when I see them being good people, I feel really proud of myself, of like the way I've raised my sons to be good people. I think those moments almost mean more to me than my own accomplishments when I see my kids accomplishing something. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Did you come from a big family?
No, not at all. It's just my mom and dad, and I have one younger brother. And I do have a big extended family, but I didn't grow up with them. My mom and dad are from Central Illinois, and they left before I was born to move up here to Michigan for opportunities for work. So I didn't really grow up seeing my grandparents, my aunts and uncles and cousins, things like that. Just us
Where did you grow up at?
here in Belleville.
In Belleville. What was it like growing up in Belleville?
It was good. It was good. Belleville's a small town, and there's a lot of pros and cons to that. Everyone knows everybody, and there's pros and cons to that. When I was young, I felt like Belleville was so boring. Like there was nothing to do, and that might have been true at the time. There wasn't a lot for young people to do, but I would venture out. We're so close to Ann Arbor and Detroit. I spent a lot of time exploring other areas and doing stuff, getting into trouble.
Besides Belleville, what would you say is your favorite area to kind of venture out to in Michigan?
In Michigan? Well, like I said, I spent a lot of time in Ann Arbor when I was young. I like going there now. I went to grad school there, like on campus in Ann Arbor. So that was nice. Right now, my favorite Michigan spot, like we have a vacation spot we go to every year up in Port Austin at the tip of the thumb. And we've been going every summer since my oldest son was just 3 years old for over 20 years. So we go up there now and we rent the same house every year at the same time. We have 2 weeks that we just unplug and take off and enjoy the Michigan summer up there. So that's great. That's my favorite spot.
Is the best part about that the unplugging?
Yes. definitely. And I love that it's the same place, same house every year. When we get there, the neighbors know us. It's just I walk in the door and it's not actually my house, but it feels like my second home. So I can really relax and get comfortable.
Makes sense. So, what was young Jessica like?
Like elementary, middle school, I was a very good student. I was, on the honor roll, and that was really important to me. I did really well. Um, when I was young, I grew up with all boys, like my one brother. And then my mom became good friends with a neighbor who had three boys, and she took care of us after school and during the summer. So it's just me and the four boys, and we would, swim and play baseball and hike around in the woods all summer. So I was kind of a tomboy.
Did you play sports?
Um, Not officially, like not on teams or anything, but I played a lot of baseball with those guys for sure
What
growing up.
position did you play in baseball?
Oh, I don't know. I just tried to hit the ball.
Where were you good at hitting the ball?
No. No, I wasn't good. But it was just, it's how we spent our summer days.
Makes a lot of sense. So you was there for the fun of
Yeah.
it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself an athlete by any stretch. I like to do sporty things, but just to have fun.
What do you think your favorite thing to do was when you were a kid?
Oh, I'd ride my bike a lot, that kind of thing. I used to like to draw, read. I was a big reader. I read books I had no business reading when I was a little girl. For sure. Yeah.
What is one of those books?
Oh gosh, I remember when I was in elementary school, we had to do some sort of book report or something, and I brought the book I was reading to my teacher, and she was just like, "What?" It was Gone with the Wind. She's like, I think I was in the fourth grade." She's, "No, you need to pick a different book." That kind of thing. I read like the whole Little House on the Prairie series. It was a big one. Maybe it was Little Women. I think I was reading the Little Women books when I was that age too. And I just remember having this huge, thick book when a lot of the kids in my class were reading, picture book stuff. So.
So, like teenage years, what was the music scene for you in the teenage years?
Oh gosh, it was interesting. So I was in high school in the 90s. And right when I was getting into high school, that's when like grunge rock became a thing. Nirvana, the Seattle sound, the garage bands coming out around that time. So yeah, it was very 90s rock. And I explored a lot of different music when I was in high school. I got a little into like goth stuff, a little bit into punk stuff, a little bit of ska, like all kinds of stuff. Rockabilly became a thing when I was getting out of high school, and the rave scene was happening too. So there was a lot.
So did you do the whole black hair, black nails, that whole thing?
Kind of, well, a little, not that far into it. Yeah, I was more into the music than the look, I guess. I think.
Makes a lot of sense. So did you go to a lot of concerts around that time?
I did. That's one of the things we used to do a lot because there was a lot around on any, weekend. You could drive into Detroit or into Ann Arbor and find a show somewhere. And it was still reasonable. We didn't have much money, but you could get a good concert ticket for not very much. So.
What is, if I say a concert from your youth, what's the first concert that come to mind?
Oh my gosh. The first concert I went to ever, I think, is wild. It was at the Michigan State Fairgrounds when they were still in town, in the city. And I saw Bob Dylan at the Michigan State Fairgrounds, my first ever concert. How weird is that?
Who
Yeah.
did you go with?
Actually, my best friend at the time and the boy I was dating at the time, who's my now husband. So the three of us went. Her mom drove us and like waited in the parking lot for us because we were 14 years old.
Do you still go to concerts now?
Not really. I haven't in a long time. I can't believe how much it costs to go to a concert. I would never pay hundreds of dollars to go to any concert. I can't see that happening. Not at all.
Concerts are like $200
No way.
for like a OKC.
Yeah, that's a plane ticket. I'm not. No. I think the most even I was gonna say the most we probably paid to go to see a concert was a festival, because back then, like Lollapalooza was a touring festival, so they would come to town, and we'd pay more for those tickets, but you'd be there all day to see all kinds of headliners and second stage acts and stuff like that. So
What is your music of choice now?
I stick with rock pretty much, classic rock, classic alternative, that kind of stuff. I still listen to a lot of the same stuff I was listening to in the 90s, definitely. Yeah.
So if you're it's a nice sunny day outside, not here in Michigan right now, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's a nice sunny day outside and you're on your way to a listing, well, let's say it's far away, so you have a nice 45-minute drive,
Mm-hmm.
where do you turn it on?
I am big into Tom Petty. I'm a huge Tom Petty fan, and I've been listening to him a lot the last couple of years. So the Tom Petty station on Sirius Satellite Radio, that's almost always on in my car. And yeah, I got a nice sunny day. I'm rolling the windows down. Tom Petty concert.
Sounds good. If you can go to any concert for free,
Uh-huh.
past or present, what concert would that be?
Jeez. Well, I never saw Tom Petty live, and I kind of regret that. As much as he toured, I wish I would have gone to see him live and in person. So maybe that.
Tom Petty concert?
Yeah, I would go to a Tom Petty concert.
Sounds good. Is that the same? Is your husband into the same thing?
No, not at all. He's into much like heavier metal stuff, and we've gone to quite a few concerts together. But I think the band we've seen the most is probably Tool. I think we've been to like 4 or 5 Tool concerts together. So that's more like his musical taste. I like it too, but that's more his stuff. But
So, who would be your Tom Petty concert partner?
I guess I'd have to force my kids to go with me or something, because he wouldn't go. I don't know. I don't know. Tell you what I won't do though. There's a lot of the bands that I liked back then and I still like now, but I'm definitely not paying $200 to see someone who was popular in the 90s play a concert now. Like you've done it. Stop. You're good.
Makes a lot of sense. Outside of real estate, what would you consider your passions currently?
My passions. Well, I'm currently doing pretty good. I don't know if I'd say I'm passionate about it, but health and fitness is important to me. So it's part of my regular routine to be active, whether that's going to the gym or going for a hike. I've got a fun routine going with some friends where we do a water workout, like stuff like that. So I do a lot of that. I am passionate, or it's also important to me to travel. I almost always have a trip planned coming up, although I'm putting that on a little bit. But my trips are going to be drivable this year after all the nonsense that's going on with the airlines and stuff. Not just the headlines, but my own personal experiences too. I'm taking a bit of a break from flying for a while. So I'm always thinking about where I want to go and what I want to see, what experiences I want to have, that kind of thing.
Did you just currently have a bad experience with flying?
I sure did, yes. The last 2 big trips that I've taken my family on, we had some really unfortunate experiences. In July, this past July, we were flying out for a trip on that day that the national systems went down. So we were stranded here, but stranded. Flights were canceled, and we had to, luckily, we were able to rebook, but we had to wait and miss 2 days of our vacation to get a new flight to where we were going. And then most recently, my trip in January, we had an amazing trip to Moab, Utah. We went to Arches National Park, a place I've always wanted to go. Had a wonderful time, but got completely stranded in Utah on the way home. The tiniest airport I've ever seen. One gate, one plane, in and out, back and forth to Phoenix every day. And there was something wrong with the plane. And there wasn't another plane. And there was no part to fix the plane. And that was it. We were just stuck there 2 days. We would have been stuck there a third day, except we ended up renting a minivan with 2 total strangers and driving ourselves to Phoenix 7 hours in the middle of the night just to get home. It was wild.
Yeah, that sounds pretty wild.
It was
Especially
wild.
Passengering up with two strangers. How was that drive?
It was something. It was something. We were all good sports about it. And at that point, like, they were strangers, but we were in the same boat and had been for, 2 days just trying to get out of Utah. So we were all eager to get to Phoenix. And it worked out. And they were such nice guys. One of them was a kid. He was turning 21. He spent his 21st birthday stuck in that airport.
Guess he'll remember that all the time.
Yeah. He was trying to get to New Orleans to celebrate his 21st birthday with his friends and family. So he was very sweet and very appreciative that, we offered him some kind of solution, like ride with us to Phoenix so we can get out of here. And the other guy was trying to get home to Phoenix, and he was just stuck there in Utah with nothing but the clothes on his back, literally. So he was really happy to get out too. And they were super nice. My husband drove the whole time, and they kept him company while we tried to sleep in the back, the kids and I, but it was wild. I kind of wish we would have just decided to do that and would have gone earlier that day because it would have been a gorgeous drive. We drove like basically around the Grand Canyon, straight through Sedona, like some beautiful parts of the Southwest I would have really liked to see, but it was the middle of the night and we were just trying to get there. So
Makes a lot of sense. You said that travel is one of your passions. What is your favorite place that you or your favorite trip that you have taken?
I've taken a lot. I've taken a lot of really, really good ones. So I got to be really close friends my senior year of high school with an exchange student who was living in Belleville and going to Belleville High School for a full year. She was from Switzerland. So when she went home at the end of the year, I went with her, 17, and went backpacking with her and her friends through Europe. I think I was there for 6 weeks that trip. And I got to do that twice. The summer I was 17 and the summer I was 19, two different backpacking trips, which was really, really cool. And I guess that kind of made me realize how much I enjoyed that, like experiencing different parts of the world, different cultures, meeting people from different cultures. So that's what inspired me to make it a priority, I guess. And those were great trips. And then I've taken some really great trips. My husband and I, we try to take at least a long weekend every year. No kids, just the two of us, go someplace new and explore and have a good time together. And then as my kids have gotten older, we've taken them on some great trips too. So I think standouts, we had an amazing family vacation in Italy a couple years ago where we stayed in Sorrento and explored the Amalfi Coast, Naples, Pompeii. That was amazing. Day trip to Rome. And a couple summers ago, we met my in-laws in Alaska. They spent a whole summer in Alaska, and we met them up in Anchorage and had a really cool trip there. I think Alaska, of all the places I've been to, is honestly one of the most beautiful places in the world. It was really incredible to go see. That was cool.
Do you have any particular or fond memory slash story from your time of backpacking through Europe?
Yeah. Yeah, lots. I mean, I think it was a really neat experience as an American too, to be with Europeans in Europe because it's just part of their culture to travel like that. Even when they're very young, like we were 17 years old with no adults, no cell phones, no real plans even. We just have passport, we'll travel, hop on a train and decide where we're going from there. So that was really cool and different, just so different, a different way to do things. And yeah, we had a lot of really neat experiences.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do any of your kids play sports now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My oldest son played soccer from the time he was 3 years old all the way through high school. He still plays a little bit recreationally now. My younger two boys are 12 and 14 right now, and they play hockey. They've been in hockey since they were in diapers.
So you're a hockey mom?
I'm a hockey mom. Yes, I am.
Is there any good experiences or activities that came from you being a hockey mom?
Yes, it's I didn't realize at the time, like I didn't know what I was getting into, but it's really kind of a lifestyle choice. You have to be so dedicated, so committed to it because it's really like a year-round commitment, even when they're young, and a lot of travel. So we do a lot of travel with the hockey teams, and you get to know the other kids and their parents, and you just kind of become one big hockey family, and you spend a lot of time together. So,
I hear hockey parents get very competitive.
yes, certainly can.
Is there any games that's played between, not necessarily hockey, but just games in general between hockey parents?
That we would play?
Mm-hmm.
There's always euchre going on at hockey tournaments and whatnot. Is that what you mean?
What's euchre?
Card game, euchre.
Never heard of it.
What?
You gotta explain this to
You're
me.
from Michigan?
Never heard
It's
of
a
it.
Michigan. It's a lot like spades.
Okay.
Yeah.
I a birdie told me that you're learning golf right now. Is that true?
I'm attempting to learn golf right now. Yes. I'm enjoying attempting to learn golf right now. Yes.
What do you like about golf?
Honestly, I like being outside all day. That's really nice. But I do like a challenge, and something like golf, like it seems like it should be so simple. Hit the ball with the stick, make it go where you want to go. It is so hard. So hard. To get just a little bit better requires like so much effort and patience and practice. So I'm kind of hooked on that, just trying to get a little bit better. Yeah.
How often do you golf now?
I should be golfing once a week, like all year. And I know if I'm gonna get better, I need to spend more time practicing. But I try to go at least once a week when the weather's nice, be outside and do it. And then I just went to a simulator for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I need to practice way more.
How was the simulator versus actually just golfing?
It was tough for me. I don't know. It's weird hitting a ball as hard as you can into something because the first time I did it, I was just so nervous it was going to come back at me, like I was going to get hurt. I was going to get bounced off a wall or a ceiling. Yeah, and I did almost do that for sure. So,
Did you do it with a group?
yeah, two friends we went. Yep.
Do your husband play golf as well?
No, he doesn't consider it a sport. He teases me about it.
That's definitely a conversation within itself. That's like a whole sports center debate, right?
I guess, I guess. But in his mind, if it's not like a team sport, it doesn't even count. So,
So not even tennis neither?
no.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know that you're very passionate. I know that you're passionate about your boys and your family. Is there anything in particular that you try to work hard to instill into your kids?
Wow. So much, I guess. Um, I think above all, I try to instill in them a sense of optimism, maybe, and acceptance. Like, I don't expect my kids to be perfect. I don't expect them to never make a mistake. I think that mistakes are a natural part of life and actually something that you learn and benefit from. So I always try to tell, I don't want my kids to feel bad about trying something and failing or trying something and making a mistake. And I always tell them, and I hope they really truly believe it, that there's nothing you can do in life that you can't recover from, nothing that you can fail at so dramatically that you can't learn and grow from it and come out being better. So,
Makes a lot of sense. Is
yeah.
there any activities or tradition that you hold dear to do with your family?
I think a lot again about travel when I think about traditions. So, like within my marriage, my husband and I have our trip every year. With the kids, we take an annual trip with my parents down to Florida. We take our annual trip up north in the summer and have time together to unwind and relax. I guess those are our traditions. holidays, birthdays, things like that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. Have your boys ever surprised you in a way that you influenced them that you didn't necessarily think about? So, like our kids, a lot of time will pick up something from us that we never noticed, or somebody else may point out, or something like that. Um, Having three kids, I'm assuming they have three different personalities, but they're all still a part of you. So, is there anything in particular you just say, I was really surprised. He's just like me in this way,
Oh
or
my
something like
gosh.
that.
So my youngest son, Dylan, I've called him my spirit animal before because I really do think that of my three boys, he's got the personality that's most similar to mine, but it's exaggerated, if that makes sense. Like I can see in him the best parts of me, only better, but also like the worst parts of me, even wilder. Like he's got both extremes, so he's an interesting one for sure. My middle son Luke, his personality is a lot more like my husband's. He's pretty quiet and introverted, but also very sweet and very sensitive, and I love that about him. My oldest son Dominic is really balanced. I think he had an interesting experience with me as his parent because I was so young when he was born. I was 20, so his growing up years was a lot of me growing up too, and I am surprised sometimes about how much of that like he saw and remembered and learned from. I guess I don't know. Like he's made choices in his life as an adult, being mindful of what it was like for him as a child watching me at that same stage of life. Like when it was time for him to make choices about education and career, he was very practical. It was not, we were on a college tour once at my alma mater, the college he ultimately went to. I'm like, oh, yes, this is where I went, the School of Liberal Arts. He was like, yep, keep walking, not doing that. Yep. Nope. It's
what
like
did
that
he
kind of thing.
what did he ultimately go into?
Business.
Ah,
Yep.
can't go wrong with business.
Yep. He's doing very well there, but I think he remembered like being a young kid, what it was like for mom as a social worker and not being able to do with a lot of things that we do now or have the same opportunities we do now with mom as a real estate agent because of the career choice that I made then and financially the opportunities that we had. So
Mhm. What did you do before you was a real estate agent?
I was a social worker. So let's see. I was in child welfare to start out with. I started in foster care out of college. I worked in that field for a couple of years, and then I went back to grad school and got a master's degree in social work. And again, I was in the child welfare field, but I was working as an in home therapist with families with young children who had risk factors for abuse or neglect.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Do you think anything from your time as a social worker helps you currently as a real estate agent slash broker?
Definitely. That skill set carried over actually very well, and I think that's part of what made me successful as a real estate agent. Um, what I was doing in social work was really forming relationships with my clients. And I do that now in real estate, and it's something that I enjoy and kind of take pride in. Like, it's not just a transaction. I'm not just helping you sign papers, that kind of thing. I'm really getting to know you, getting to know what's important to you, getting to know your goals, and helping you accomplish those goals. And when my clients in real estate accomplish their goals, that's very rewarding for me, just like it was in social work when my clients accomplish their goals there. In real estate, I'm a problem solver. That's kind of a overall, like if I had to describe what I do, I solve problems from beginning to end in a real estate transaction. And that requires a lot of resourcefulness, of advocacy. Those were the same things that I did for my clients in social work. I really had to advocate for them, sort through some really complicated systems to get them the resources that they need. So I take that same approach to my clients in real estate.
So, what do you think is a separator for you as an agent?
Like what makes me different as an agent?
Hmm.
Well, I think that's one example for sure. And I think that I really don't look at my role as a salesperson. I'm not focused on the sales aspect of it. Of course, that there is a lot of that. It's important. I consider myself more as a guide, right? So I'm guiding people through this transaction, which can be very stressful, can be very difficult, can have lots of challenges. They need someone working for them and with them who they can trust. And I think I'm really good at that. So,
What area in real estate do you service? Areas.
most of my sales are in and around the Belleville area. Um, but I go all over the place, primarily like Wayne, Washtenaw, Monroe counties. But I've sold on the other side of Jackson and way up into Oakland County and close to the Ohio border and wherever I need to be.
How long have you been in real estate?
This will be 12 years for me.
12 years. So, out of your 12-year career in real estate, do you have like a favorite transaction, whether it's a house sold or you helping somebody purchase a house?
A favorite transaction. I think in general, like I really enjoy helping buyers find the dream house, like that kind of thing. That's always really special to me when I spend a lot of time looking with someone and they finally find the one and they finally get their offer accepted. Like that's always a great day, very rewarding. As far as like favorites, I've helped friends, I've helped family members. One time, actually, even I think it was my first full year in real estate, but one of the families that I had worked with as a social worker reached out to me and I helped them buy a house. And that was really, really cool because at one time, like I had been with them when things weren't going well and they were really struggling and needed help and needed support. To have them find me years later when they were now doing so well that they were able to buy a house for their family, that was a really special moment. That was really cool.
That's a real life full circle moment.
Yeah, yeah, it really was.
That is amazing.
Yep. And now I think 12 years in, a lot of those first families that I helped buy or sell a house have now bought and sold that house again, kind of like turned over, which is cool to see. You know, as the years go by and they get married, they have kids, their families grow, their life situation changes. That's special to be a part of and to see. And then when they refer me to their friends and family, that's always really cool too. There's one family I helped. I helped a couple buy their first house last year. They just had their first baby in their first house. But I've also helped their siblings, their parents, and their grandparents. So it's like three generations. Now I'm getting to meet the fourth generation of this family. That's really cool too.
That is very amazing.
Yeah.
I would assume in a 12-year career, it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. The opposite side of that coin is, have you had any particular frustrating transactions? And if so, how did you get through it?
Sure, sure. That's going to happen. I think if you meet a real estate agent who hasn't had a deal go badly, they haven't been doing it long enough. Like it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And those can be very, very challenging, very difficult to deal with, very stressful for clients. And as the agent ultimately responsible for all of it, that's something I take to heart, take very seriously. And when things go badly, that's really difficult for me. That's devastating. So
You have recently just transitioned into a new brokerage. How has it been going at your new brokerage?
great, great. It was a big leap of faith, but one that I was ready for. I think that I've acquired the experience and the knowledge over the years I've been in real estate to be prepared to do something like what I'm doing now. So I'm feeling confident about it. And probably like over the 12 years, I've had several different brokers, different agents who I consider to be mentors. I've learned something very important from each and every one of them. Most recently, at my most recent position, I think one of the best things that I took from the years that I spent there was the partnership that I formed with James, my partner now. So for he and I to now have the opportunity to together build something that's what as agents we would have wanted to have is really exciting and something that I'm really happy about and proud of.
That's amazing. So, if I was to drop you in a brand new state, brand new city, no contacts, no leads, and only $500, how would you get your first sale?
That's a great question. For me, I would be getting to know people. I would be getting to know the community. I would be meeting with people involved in the industries, bankers, photographers, title reps, taking them out to lunch, getting to know them, building relationships, going to the Chamber of Commerce, going to local service organizations. How can I get involved? How can I insert myself into this new community that's going to be mine, right? Like, who do I need to know? What do I need to do? What can I do to help? That's what I'd be doing.
If you could have one superpower that would make you a perfect agent, what would that superpower be?
Okay, not just because I heard James say this earlier, but I would be a mind reader for sure. I think personally, like I'm very honest and very transparent by default. Not all people are, and I think that's really hard for me to understand and wrap my head around. But it would be great to just know uh, what are you trying to do? What are your motivations? What are your goals? What are you hoping to accomplish here? Especially for some people who have difficulty just being transparent about it, or somehow think that it's in their best interest to keep that guarded, or people who are just tough negotiators who keep everything so close to the chest that it's hard to understand where they're coming from, right? So,
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Who do you think have the hardest job in real estate? We know real estate is a multifaceted thing. There's buyers agents, seller agents, real estate investors. You got title company, real estate photographers. So many
Yeah.
different jobs within real estate. Who do you think has the hardest job?
The hardest job? I don't envy the lenders, to be honest. They have to sort through crunching numbers and sorting through documents and whatnot for criteria that's always changing. I think that's got to be pretty tough. I would say underwriters and appraisers, but I don't think it's because they have the hardest job. I think they have the most like hated jobs. I don't know. When something goes wrong, it's so easy to point to the underwriter and the appraiser, but yeah, they can make things very difficult. Yeah.
And then last question. What's something in life you still haven't done but hope to accomplish?
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe professionally, what I'm attempting to accomplish right now, making something kind of new, kind of on my own, with James and with Eric and Social House, obviously, but starting this office from scratch is really exciting and challenging. And I think once it's really up and running, something that I'll be really proud of. So an accomplishment I hope to have very soon.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time with us at Faces of Real Estate today.
Okay, thank you.